Welcome to the PJ Finance Show. My name is Phoebe.
And I am Joe. Today's presentation will focus on the several different techniques that can be used when valuing a business, as well as the various strengths and weaknesses that each approach method inherently possesses. Now, Phoebe is going to lead us off with the price-to-book method.
Thanks, Joe. The price-to-book ratio is a great way to see if a stock is overpriced or underpriced. The total book value is calculated by subtracting liabilities from assets to get total equity. Next, you have to divide the total amount of equity by the number of shares outstanding. Now, you have the book value per share. Using the price-to-book ratio, we are able to compare the actual share price to the on-paper valuation of the stock. If book value is less than the price, the stock is overpriced and should be sold. If the opposite case is true, it may be a great opportunity to buy shares. However, please note that some more digging is still required. The biggest flaw of the book value is that it includes intangible assets, which is why it is necessary to look at the company's balance sheet also.
Next, we will dive into the Gordon Growth Model. The Gordon Growth Model should be applied to a dividend-paying company that is in a mature stage. It basically will take the annual dividend and assume a perpetuity-based formula. As seen below, the simplified version of the Gordon Growth Model formula is to take the annual dividend payment and divide that by the difference of discount rate and growth rate. The next step, which makes the most sense, is to calculate an expected dividend growth rate using the last 5 years historically. In the example given, you can see that the average dividend growth rate was 10% or 0.1. The last variable which we need to estimate is the borrowing rate, represented as R. This can be done by plugging in the current stock price on the other side of the formula. A secondary method that can be used in estimating R using the adjusted weighted average cost of capital.
Now, back to the other board for the discounted cash flow model. The DCF model will take a projection of future cash flows and discount them based on assumptions of the rate, which is usually the modified weighted average cost of capital calculation. Each cash flow must be calculated individually, because not all cash flows come at the same time and therefore need a different time exponent, which is represented by n in years. The last and most important component of the formula is known as the terminal value, which still needs an accurate estimation for G. How do we do this? We use the same method as the Gordon Growth Model, which is historical dividend growth over the last 5 years. We then add the sum of all cash flows calculated first, with the terminal value to get a DCF model price per share. The major limitation to this model and the Gordon Growth Model is the assumptions made about the amount of each cash flow, timing, growth rate, discount rate, and cost of capital. Keep in mind that your calculation is only a representation of your assumptions, therefore you need to vary your assumptions using multiple models.
That is everything we will be covering today. It's time to take a vacation. Thank you for watching. This presentation on valuation methods is brought to you by the PJ Finance Show.